Hello.
Hello.
What's up? How you doing? Welcome back to How Was Your Day? I'm always joined by the two homies, GQ Nesto. How was your day?
Doing well.
Charlie Mack, CEO. How was your day?
My day was wonderful, man. Before we start real quick, I just want to give a shout out to all of our followers and everybody that's been listening. Just want to be grateful and just say thank you to everybody right now. Appreciate all the love.
Definitely, because you definitely got other things you can do with your time besides listening to us. What I want to talk about today is maybe a touchy subject for some, but hey, we need to talk about it. All right. I was thinking about, there was a time in my life where I wanted to be a cop. Not only a cop, maybe interested in the FBI, maybe interested in California Highway Patrol, all of which passed with flying colors, waiting on academy dates. But thinking about it then versus now, my opinion may have changed. With everything that has taken place currently between law enforcement and the local communities, I think about my vision or my opinion of law enforcement as a kid. They used to come to the schools. We had this program. All right, I don't want to date myself, but it was called DARE. And I thought cops was really cool. I thought they were a part of our community, and I thought they were there to protect us. Do you remember your thoughts on law enforcement when you were growing up? Did you have any interaction with them? GQ Nesto?
Oh, for sure. I think till this day, I'm very grateful. All those law enforcement risking their lives for us, thank you. I appreciate that. To this day, I think there's nothing negative I could say about law enforcement. I think we're looking at them different, yes, but at the end of the day, we are fortunate to have a very peaceful environment, or you want to say safe neighborhoods because of them. So with that being said, thank you. That's all I got to say.
For sure. Charlie Mack, what you think about? What is your opinion on law enforcement?
Same here. When I was a kid, I think almost every young kid wants to be a cop at some point throughout their childhood. I used to always want to be a police officer. Same situation. Their officer comes to your school, all that good stuff. And then as you get older, things happen. Depending on where you grow up, you see things and things occur, and then thoughts start to change. But nonetheless, I still respect law enforcement. I have family members and friends in law enforcement, so it is what it is. There's good cops, there's bad cops, just like there's good civilians, bad civilians.
Would you, would either one of you consider a career in law enforcement at this point?
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Hell nah.
Why not?
They're just hated too much, bro. That's why I respect them so much, because they're better than me. I wouldn't want to go to work. You go to work every day knowing you got thousands of people that just want you dead for no fucking reason. Or not for no reason, but because one of your colleagues in another state or another city did something that they disagree with, so now they want you dead. That's a hefty price to pay, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I got a family I want to go home to, so it's do I really want that pressure? For the amount of pay that they receive, is it worth it?
True.
In my opinion, no. So they better than me. That's why I respect them.
Understood. What about you, Nesto?
Where's the badge? That's all I gotta say. Where's the badge?
You ready to go
You
out?
ready to suit up right now?
I am ready to suit up. I completely respect the profession. Regardless of what's going on, I'm up for it, because you're never gonna be liked. It's like you're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you don't. Preferably, I would rather be in the Border Patrol. That's my thing. I think I would rather be in the Border Patrol. But if I have to choose, you name what law enforcement department wants me, say no more. I'll be there.
Without any hesitation.
Without hesitation.
All right.
Well, luckily for you, your criminal record would stop. No, I'm just listening.
Caveat on that.
Okay.
Hey, do you think that if you were to take a position in law enforcement, do you think you would be more effective if you came from that community that you served?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's huge. I think it takes a person coming from the community to understand the community. So I think I would be efficient in serving my community in that aspect. It takes a certain animal. I think you got to be built different to be able to understand certain aspects that we lack within that. Within our police departments, a lot of police departments. So we can't bash on what they do or how they do it because there's a lot more to it.
What about you, man?
I agree with Nesto. Like there is a lot more to it. I most definitely think it would help in a lot of situations if you police the community where you were actually from. You know what I mean? Because you understand the people, you understand their struggles, you understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, I understand why a lot of officers would disagree with that.
I mean, because that's the biggest argument right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Is the argument is always like if you stand in front of a crowd and you're trying to preach, teach, whatever it is, mentor, lead. If you haven't walked a day in my shoes, then how can you relate to me? And that's the biggest argument that's going on right now. They're saying that a lot of law enforcement or whatever, they don't know nothing about you. They don't know how you was raised.
At the same day, it shouldn't really matter though, because at the end of the day, a criminal is going to be a criminal.
So I think.
No, I mean,
but is it being a criminal or is it stereotyping?
The biggest problem right now, I feel, is that we have law enforcement that live in Modesto and work in Oakland. So how can you identify yourself with somebody within the community of the city of Oakland versus Modesto? So I think that's the disconnect that we see nowadays. So.
Right, but at the same time, if you were a cop from Oakland, if you lived in Oakland, would you really want to police in Oakland?
Oh, 100%.
How would it go down when you got to arrest somebody you grew up with?
You sometimes,
and then all of a sudden everybody hates you and you got a price on your head. Like, how are you supposed to go home and sleep at night with your family knowing you got a price on your head and your family's got a price on their head and you're just literally 2 blocks away?
If you're from that community, you understand, and I'm pretty sure they understand. You have to take, what's given to you and run with it, whether it's good or bad. There's nothing that you can do about that.
Right, but would you be willing to put your family in that situation as well? I mean, if it's just me and like no questions asked. You know what I mean? But when you got kids and things like that involved, would you still be willing to police your same neighborhood? Would you put your family in that same neighborhood you're policing if it's the neighborhood you grew up in?
I mean, Jesus did it, right?
But we're not Jesus.
Well,
definitely not Jesus.
Sometimes you have to take certain decisions that it's hard to live with, but if you know you're doing the right thing, that's all that really matters.
I feel that's all I said. My hat's off to all law enforcement. So
let's flip it. Let's flip it right here. With everything that's going on right now, all right, I want you to think back then, and I want you to think presently. All right, I want you to think back 5 years ago, 10 years ago versus now. Have you ever been pulled over?
That's a lot of times, yes.
And what were your thoughts during that time? Back then, what were your thoughts? Were you afraid? Were you cautious? What were your thoughts? What were your feelings?
My feelings were, what's the cause? Does he really have something on me? I never doubted his profession. I just doubted whether was he doing his profession in the correct manner.
Back then or now?
Back then.
What about now? with everything that's been going on.
If you
Same-
got
same-
pulled over right now, would your feelings be different?
No, it wouldn't.
You wouldn't be a little bit more scared.
No, why? Why? Because it's all about accountability. I take accountability. If I was speeding, I was speeding. If I did something wrong, you know when you did something wrong. So, look, we pay for them to protect us. So how dare we question them when we get pulled over? You know, we paid them to do that. We paid them to question every possible, person out there that can, be violating the law or be violating a traffic law.
I mean, but people aren't pulled over because they're violating the law. They pulled over because you riding in a nice car and you don't look like the type of person that should be driving that car. And you should know.
That's your perspective.
That's my perspective.
That's your perspective.
Because it hasn't happened to you, that's my perspective.
It has happened to me.
It has happened to you. And
It
you're
has
cool.
happened.
You're cool with it.
I'm okay with it.
All right. What about you, Charlie? Have you ever been pulled over?
Man, I haven't been pulled over since I was like 18 years old, so I can't really speak to that fact. I mean, like Nesto said, it's kind of hard, being African American, even though I'm only half. You know what I mean? Like you still have that thought in the back of your mind, like how are they going to perceive me? Like, even though I know I don't do nothing wrong, like I don't fear the police. If I was to get pulled over, like I don't think I would fear them. But I mean, I guess you don't know until you're in that situation. Like subconsciously, are you in the back of your head, like fuck?
Do you think
Am I gonna be the next victim?
Like
you know what I mean? Like I'm sure for a lot of people it has. Everything's going on, but yeah, man, it's just crazy times. I'm sure for a lot of people get nervous.
It's as crazy as you make it. Are we gonna say that the things that are going on didn't have a cause?
No, I'm not saying that.
I think we can all agree to that.
I always
right?
say, man, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
As a child, did you view law enforcement, cops, whatever, as heroes?
I wouldn't say heroes, but I would say, they came in clutch. I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't say hero. I mean, it was more like, oh shit, they got a gun. That's tight.
I was born.
They get to drive fast and chase people.
I was raised in the hood, so having the police coming through, I mean, that was a huge relief. But it wasn't the solution.
So when you hear the phrase like protect and serve, what does that mean to you, C-Mac?
To me, I mean, it's exactly what it says. It's pretty self-explanatory. Protect the community, serve the community.
But is that applicable when you apprehending a criminal?
Yeah, you're protecting the community from the criminal.
But what about the criminal?
What about the criminal?
Does
Play
he have
stupid games,
rights?
win stupid prizes.
All right. What
Know what
about
I mean?
you?
I mean, you don't disrespect them or anything like that. I mean, you need to use the force necessary to get the arrest done.
Well, no, because I mean, this just makes me think about a case that was just I briefly listened to it on the news this morning. A man was in a shootout in Northern California area, and when it was all said and done, they called the paramedics for this guy who had just killed a woman. They called the cops called the paramedics for the man who had just murdered a woman. And then you think about everything that's happening in the community and you're just like, why is it so ruthless? You're supposed to protect all. Of course, you're supposed to control the situation,
Right.
right? Make sure everyone
Well,
is safe.
they're law
But
enforcement. Their
you
job is
still-
not to let you die.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You still have rights, even as
Yeah,
a
even a criminal, you
but
still have rights.
you hear that. You hear that often, especially with the cases as they're going on right now. It was like, he had a speeding ticket, or he was on meth, but like, he or she was still human, and that's not your job. You're not the judge.
Yeah,
and
you don't get to
jury.
play God. You don't just get to take
You know
people's
what I'm
lives.
saying?
I feel that.
But what do you think about that, Nesto? Do you think that the protect and serve thing is gone a little too far? Or is it I'm gonna protect myself and serve those who work with me?
I think we reached to a point in the community that obviously they're scared of them, and I think that that's the wrong approach because we take them out of the equation. Like I said, we're out of luck. It's tough to say. It's tough to say that either way they're whether they're right or wrong. I mean, I think every situation has this cause and effect. So before we even judge a cop or what their decision whatever the decision they've made, what would we do in that situation? I think that's what it all comes down to. Are we? It's bioreaction. Are we really gonna judge them on that? Because every human obviously is gonna react a certain way based on their assumptions of what can possibly happen. So I think that they deal with this on a daily basis. So can we judge them on that? No. Can they do a better job? Yes, they could. But with everything that's going on, I think everybody's so sensitive, and I mean, I personally think that we're taking certain factors that are essential to what they really do. That's my thing. They're bringing something huge to our community, and if we take them out of the equation, what are we going to do?
I mean, but of course, I'm not saying I disagree with you or anything like that. Law and order is always necessary because you think about the riots and the looting and the things that you have going on, and you have people who mask their true intentions, by causing chaos. And that's what people see.
Let me ask you something. Will you do a citizen's arrest?
Would I do a citizen's arrest
Yes.
if it was affecting my immediate family or myself? But other than that,
What about
no.
you, Charlie?
Same thing. If it's affecting my immediate family, hell yeah, I would do it. If it ain't my business, it ain't my business. I'm gonna keep it rolling. Stay in my lane.
I'm not gonna put my life on the line for something that doesn't even have. It doesn't involve me.
Yeah.
Okay, so now imagine
I've done that.
That's why I said. That's why I
20 years.
respect law
So
enforcement.
imagine a cop's life.
That's what
every
I'm saying.
day.
Like that's their job, one, but two, that's why I say I respect them.
So you look at these people, right? So all right. So for instance, right, I seen one of the people accused of, physically harming or murdering or killing a suspect, and I looked at this guy's profile picture, and he looked like he was like 24 years old, right? And for one, I think there's a level of maturity that you should have when you take on that badge. Like, no matter all the training in the world, it's not going to give you maturity. That's just like how they say some people are book smart, some people are street smart. All right. Sometimes people have the combination of both. But like this dude, he just looks scared. So you can see why he unloaded like 7 times in this man's back, because he looks scared. Like, dude, why would you even put yourself in that position? If, like, come on, man, this ain't your lane. This ain't your lane. I know, you saw fireman trucks growing up and you saw the sirens and you thought it was cool to be in a uniform. But like you said, we don't know how you're going to react
Until you're in that situation.
until you're in that situation.
But at the same time, put yourself
okay.
in the cop's shoes.
Okay.
Like you got a family to go home to, right?
Bro, it's
You're
four,
going
it's
to
four of
arrest
me. And,
somebody?
it's 4 of me and one
I understand
of
that,
you.
but
I can't handle that.
But when the suspect turns around and starts walking away, you don't know if he has a gun. You don't know what he has. He could turn around any second and blast you, and you're dead. You don't go home to your family that night.
So
you gonna
I'm-
take that chance, or you gonna?
I'm going to take that chance. That's
Okay.
just me.
Damn.
I'm going to take
Okay.
that chance because I know what I signed up for. That's just like those of us who served in the military.
So,
I'm gonna take that
okay,
chance.
okay.
I don't have
Okay,
to agree
okay.
what I'm going overseas for, but I know I'm serving my country, so I'm gonna take that chance. Like, dude, I know what I'm getting into, so I'm not about to like. Come on, man. I think
Okay,
it's other
Drew.
ways.
So, no, I agree. There are other ways.
You brought an interesting point. Okay, you served. Okay, how many tours?
4.
Okay, 4 tours.
Thank you for your
right?
service.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But-
it's just a job.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Okay. Obviously, I don't want to go into details on that, but if you had to do what you were ordered to do, would you do it?
Of course.
Same thing as a cop.
Ain't nobody, bro. Hey, Ain't nobody going out there. I don't believe they're having the huddle in the mornings and like,
go kill everybody.
No, that is not what
take
it's
them
saying.
out.
That's why we're talking about protect and serve. That's why I asked you that question. It's your job. It's your job to protect and serve the good and the bad. That's not my job to put this man to be the judge and the jury. My job is just to apprehend this person. My job is to control this situation, get everyone out of harm's danger, put this man in prison or behind bars, and let the judge and jury dictate, what's remaining or what comes after that. But that's not my job to go out here and be like, oh, I'm trigger happy. And I don't want to say it. I'm not saying that all law enforcement are trigger happy, but I'm telling you, man, media.
So you're telling me that you knew how to react in every situation when you were in all these tours.
Well, I mean, they give you training for that, but that doesn't mean that it's actually
right. You don't know until you're in the situation. Same thing, law enforcement. Like you go through training camps, you go through all the academy and all this.
So with that being said, me and you, and you, Charlie, we don't know exactly what happened.
Okay, so my point is this. All right, so everybody want to talk about race. Everybody want to talk about criminal history of these people that these things have happened to. I tell you this: if it was you, if you were the victim, I don't care if you was out there coked out, heroin out, cocained out of your mind. I would raise hell for you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's unarmed.
But at the same time,
are you
motherfucker,
serious?
when the cops tell you to stop, motherfucker, you gotta fucking stop, bro. You can't just keep fucking.
What if you under the influence?
That's your problem.
On. That's your problem? That's what we doing? That's what we saying?
Accountability.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, this is getting juicy. This is getting good. Y'all gonna have to stay tuned to the next time, right? Once again, all right, my name is Drew. We would like to thank you for listening to our show. How was your day? Hopefully your day goes a lot better and a lot easier after listening. Maybe give you something to talk about. GQ Nesto, leave us with some parting words.
Hey, let's thank the Lord for every day that we're alive. Let's be positive and let's keep it going.
Charlie Mack, CEO, the floor is yours. The floor is mine. I agree with Nesto. Every day of life is precious. Hug your loved ones a little tighter tonight. Tell them you love them. To everybody listening, do us all a favor. Do yourself a favor. Make sure you go follow our Instagram page. Follow us on all social media platforms at How Was Your Day Podcast.
We love y'all. We thank y'all. We out. God bless.
One of the big questions about things we purchase is what the value of it is. Is it really worth it?